What's up, everyone? It's Shaletta. I'm here getting a phone for one of my newly minted teenagers with Xfinity Mobile. They've got great options, affordable plans, and solid coverage that works for our whole family. With Xfinity Mobile, my daughter can stay connected with me wherever she goes. And did you know when you sign up, you can get an extra phone line free for a full year? Switch to Xfinity Mobile today for more savings, more smiles, and more ways to stay connected.
In Minnesota, we pride ourselves on our nation-leading voter turnout and safe, secure elections. Elections allow us to make our voices heard and stand up for the communities and issues we care about. To exercise your right to vote, first make sure that you are registered to vote. After registering to vote, make a plan to vote on or before Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. Learn about how to register to vote, cast your ballot, find your polling place, and more by visiting mnvotes.org.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Financially Fit Podcast. I am your host, Andre Creighton. I am so excited to be back here with you all today. I know it's been about a couple-week hiatus as me and my wife have just recently put our house on the market and have gotten an offer and accepted, and then have found another home that we want to purchase. So it's been quite a lot of work here over the past month in my household. So I had to take a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm very happy to be back here with you all. For those that are new, as I always say, this is a podcast that's here to give you some tips based from my perspective. By no means am I do I know it all, or nor will I ever know it all. But I do think, with my background of being a CFO and being in the financial landscape, that I do have a good understanding of what you need to do on your journey to becoming financially fit. And for those that have continued to rock with me throughout 2024, I really appreciate you all. Hopefully you got something fruitful out of our conversations over this year, especially as the year is coming to an end. But I have a great one for you all today. Today we're going to talk about the recent rate drops by the Feds. I was hoping to get to this in September, but as I told you, there were some things that were happening in my household that impacted that. So back September 18th, the Feds finally dropped the rates by 50 basis points. So, this is huge for a lot of people. It's going to give a lot of people more buying power. However, if you're looking at buying a new house, it is going to probably make that house a little bit more expensive, right? Because now we're going to get back into a more competitive market. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I know the Feds have also said they expect another 50 basis points and drop by the end of this year. And then they're expecting about another 100 basis point drop in 2025, and then followed by hopefully another 50 point basis drop in 2026, which would drop that rate down to 2.49 by 2026. I didn't think that we would ever see rates back in the twos. And, it could be a lot of talk. We'll have to see what happens in the market based on how consumers are reacting to the current 50 basis point drop. But if we get back into the twos, let's talk a little bit about the impact of that, right? So if you think back to, about 3 years ago, we were in this space where, as a home buyer, you're going in, rates were really low, and sometimes homeowners were getting 10, 20 offers on a home, which created a very competitive environment. Sometimes people were putting offers down on homes without actually even going to see the home. They saw the home on Zillow, they looked at the pictures, and the person that was selling the home said, "Hey, I need best offer by this date." And that forced a lot of people's hands to say, "I don't even have time to go and see the home, but I really love this home. It may be my dream home, and we got to act fast." I think if the rates come back down to 2.49%, we're going to see that again. And it's going to be important over the span of this next, I call it year and year and a half, to see what continues to happen with rates and how the market is responding to those rates. So, when we think about where we've been 2 years ago, home mortgage rates were at 8%, extremely high. And now we're back down into about 4.75, 4.8. And what that does is when you think about from a buyer's perspective, there's a lot of people at that 8% rate when they're going to apply for homes. Now that mortgage payment was that much more expensive, and likely they weren't able to participate just because, maybe their debt to income was too high, or maybe they didn't have, the amount of income that they needed to be able to support a high payment with an 8% interest rate. Now things are going to be much more affordable. We're going to see the demand go back up. What's going to happen though is while the demand's going back up, you know, the supply potentially could not be there, right? Which is going to make things very scarce, as I mentioned, around having multiple offers on a home. What we'd love to be able to see is while that demand is going up, supply is going up. So you think back to the 2008 mortgage crisis, where a lot of people were going into foreclosure. During that time, there was a lot of investors that started to buy up these properties, right? And they're using it as an investment home. Maybe it's a duplex, maybe it's a single family home, and they're renting these out to individuals, which also is a reason why we saw a lot of the rental rates go up, because it forced the demand of the rental or the rental industry to increase because a lot of people couldn't afford homes. So it'll be interesting to see now that we're shifting back into this rate environment where things are much more affordable, more people have more buying power. What does that do to the rental market? Does that decrease the rental market from a price standpoint? Does that allow more people to feel like they can rent? It's truly going to be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years. The other thing I want to mention is, if you are someone that has purchased a home in the last couple of years, this might be a good opportunity as you're thinking about over the next year to 2 years to think about refinancing that. Now, obviously, you're going to repay in closing costs and some of those things, and that's going to be a bit of a hit to you. However, that's short term, right? In the long term, what I would hope is that we get into a position where now that mortgage payment is decreasing for you all, and now we have more cash flow, right? We can do the things that we talk about on this podcast, whether that's putting money into emergency savings, whether that's investing into stocks or mutual funds, or maybe you're putting money into you have a child and you're putting money into their 529 plan so they'll have money when they get ready to go to college. Or maybe you're looking to increase uh, the rate at which you're putting into your 401k, your retirement. Those are the things I would be thinking about, and I would be running the scenarios with to be able to see how um, you can create additional cash flow by refinancing that loan and getting a lower interest rate. So I would highly, highly encourage you over the course of the next year to 2 years, really pay attention to the market, pay attention to what the feds are doing with the rates, really start to put a game plan together on how you can take advantage of these rate drops. Simultaneously, I know that a lot of individuals over the past couple of years have started to put more money into a money market, right? Because the money market was returning 4 or 5%, right? Well, now that rates are dropping, that's going to cause a lot of compression with the banks. So, how a bank works is, right, you have your deposits and then you have your lending, right? So, typically what we do as a bank is we're measuring that interest rate sensitivity, right? So, as deposit rates are high, um, we typically see very high loan rates, right? As the loan rates start to drop, we'll start to see the deposit rates drop, right? Because we don't what the banks don't want to do is they don't want to get upside down where they're paying out too much money in deposits, so in dividends, versus due to the lending side of things from interest rate dropping, right? So this is a good time to think about if you were putting a lot of money into your money markets, where can I put that money now, right? Can I put it into a vehicle that's going to return me some money at a faster rate, right? At the end of the day, as consumers, what we're always focused on is how do we play against the interest rates, right? How do we play against the interest rates, not only from our assets perspective, but also from our liabilities perspective? As I mentioned, the banks are always balancing that interest rate sensitivity. We as consumers should be treating our bank account and our assets and liabilities the same way. We should be balancing what we're getting in return from an asset standpoint, from an interest rate perspective, or from a rate perspective or return perspective, right? And what we're paying out in credit card as far as interest rates or loans, personal loans or mortgage or car loans, whatever it may be, from a liability standpoint, we should be measuring that as well. So, you know, I the bit of advice that I can give you right now is if you're listening, take some time and really look at your entire financial picture. I always say there's three people that you should have in your life from a professional standpoint. You should have a lawyer on retainer, because what we do know is that people get sued for anything and everything under the sun in today's world. So it's great to have a lawyer. We should have a CPA to make sure that we're maximizing our tax attributes and we're being able to get the best tax position that we can have. And then we should have a financial advisor. And I left that one last for a reason, because when I say we should be looking at our entire financial picture, this is a great time for you to, one, if you already have a financial advisor, start to work with them. Start to talk about your financial picture. Start to talk about how the federal rate adjustments are going to impact you over time and the things that you can be doing to make some smart decisions. If you don't have a financial advisor, this is a great time to find one. What I always say is find a financial advisor that you can trust. My purview is that I always like to have a financial advisor that gives me my options. I like to be able to go back and do my due diligence and make my own decisions. I don't like a financial advisor that tells me you have to do this or you need to do this. And I encourage you, obviously, whatever your perspective is on that, is your perspective, but that's how I like to run my financial picture. And I think for where I am in life, it's served me very well. And there's obviously a lot of things that I can continue to get better at. But I do think that I have learned enough things throughout my career and life thus far to be dangerous, to make sure that I'm setting my family on a great path to becoming financially fit. So as I always say, if you're looking for something to uh, fix your financial picture overnight, this is probably not the place for you. If you're looking for something to help you long term and over your financial journey, you're in the right place. Because at the end of the day, this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So, with that being said, you already know it's not about how much money you make, the power is in how much money you keep. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Until next time, everyone, have a wonderful day. Take care.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast-quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.
COVID-19 cases are on the rise, and peak flu season is almost here. Save time and get the updated COVID-19 vaccine and your flu shot at the same time at Hy-Vee. Schedule your updated COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot online today, or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy whenever it's convenient for you. No appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Your Hy-Vee pharmacy is here to help you and your family stay healthy.
Are you the parent or guardian of an adult with autism? If your loved one has no restrictions through court order, then they are eligible to vote. And you can assist them in many ways. Some citizens with autism don't like unfamiliar places and activities. These voters might prefer to cast their ballot at an early voting center. Leading up to Election Day, these early voting centers are less busy and less likely to require waiting. Early voting centers are open all over Minnesota, and you can vote there right now. Or you can request an absentee ballot to vote by mail. That's right. Eligible voters can cast their ballots without ever leaving home. On Election Day, curbside voting is another option to make voting easy and comfortable. Election judges will bring a ballot directly to the vehicle with the person with a disability. Make a plan to support and assist your loved one with autism this election season, so they can participate and exercise their precious right to vote. You can find out more at mmvotes.gov. That's mmvotes.gov.